Hi guys, welcome back to the Spurs Talk Show. I hope you're well. I am Sean Butler. Bugsy Malone is not with me right now because we've already done our walk today. And if you are watching this, I don't know, after about 3 p.m., then you might already see that there is a video up today. My Tottenham walk video was about transfer news regarding Rasmus Højlund, the Atalanta striker, and Ivan Toney, the Brentford striker, and the transfer rumours that are going around, or at least were this morning or over the last couple of days, about them maybe coming to Tottenham in the event that Harry Kane and or Richarlison decides to leave Tottenham during the summer. And waste not, want not, I might as well put it up. I did put it up, so you can check that out. But obviously there is bigger breaking news this morning, and that, of course, is the news that Fabio Paratici, Tottenham's director of football, has had his 13-month ban that was relating to his involvement in the financial impropriety and the fraud, for want of a better word, that was taking place at Juventus, and his involvement in all of that scandal back in January. He got that 30-month ban handed down from the Italian prosecutor, and that Italian prosecutor asked UEFA to extend that ban worldwide to stop him getting involved in footballing transfers and footballing matters. The ban was initially just for Italy, but now, after today, it is and has been extended to worldwide via FIFA. I'm going to quickly read through it and then give you my thoughts on what's next for Tottenham. I've got the Sky Sports version up here. And it says in January, It says in January, Paratici was handed a 30-month ban for carrying out activities within the Italian Football Federation, part of an investigation into alleged financial mismanagement at Juve, which saw 11 other officials banned and the club deducted 15 points. FIFA has extended the ban to worldwide activities. The Italian FA asked for these bans to be extended worldwide, and FIFA have confirmed to Sky Sports News it granted this request, meaning a global ban from football activities for Paratici. They said in a statement, FIFA have confirmed that following a request by the Italian FIGC, the chairperson of FIFA Disciplinary Committee has decided to extend the sanctions imposed by the FIGC on several football officials to have worldwide effect. Sky Sports News has contacted Tottenham and the Football Association for further guidance of what this means for Paratici and his role at Spurs. Sky Sports News understands Paratici cannot conduct any transfer market activity directly. He can't talk to agents nor negotiate deals, which is a fundamental part of his job as managing director of football. But he can work internally at Spurs, including attending meetings. However, Sky Sports News are awaiting for official clarification of this, such as whether he can be involved in Tottenham's search for a new permanent manager following the departure of Antonio Conte. Paratici, Juventus, and the other officials involved have appealed the sanctions, with the result of the appeal expected later in April, potentially the 19th. The ban is in effect even while this appeal to CONI, the Italian Olympic Committee, is going on. Paratici and 11 other former Juventus officials may also face a separate criminal case, with a preliminary hearing due to take place yesterday that was postponed until May the 10th. Juventus and the 12 officials, including Paratici, deny any wrongdoing. On Tuesday, in an extended interview on the club's official website, Paratici described Conte's exit as the right decision and called on everyone at the club to focus on a successful end to the season. Fan group, the Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust, on Wednesday afternoon called for clarity and reassurance from the club. Responding to the Paratici ban, it tweeted, "This news adds further to the extremely concerning situation at the club. No manager, no director of football, and uncertainty around our star player and our end-of-season finish. Fans deserve to hear a clear statement of strategy from Tottenham Hotspur Football Club so they can be reassured by the board on their plan to bring success and stability to the club." Separately, the forward Heung-min Son said he was saddened by Conte's departure and feels responsible. "As a player, I'm really sorry." He said he's a world-class coach and we had a great journey together. "I should have played better. I feel responsible for his departure because I haven't helped the club all that much." Well, that's for a separate occasion, guys. But what we'll do right now, we're not going to talk about Antonio Conte today. I'm just going to give you my quick thoughts on this. I think it's an absolute disaster, but I think it was a disaster that was always coming, and it was inevitable. If you looked at the crazy amount of accusations that were thrown his way and at Juventus, there's a series of videos I've done, and I'll see if you can. At the end of this video, you might even be able to see there's like a playlist of the different Juventus kind of conversations as it was being dragged out at the tail end of last year into January. And I think that this, as I say, was an inevitability. And it does turn the club into yet another laughing stock. And the club looks to be in absolute disarray. It's not just the fact that we have no director of football and no manager. We also have no female manager of the women's team. We have complete uncertainty about Harry Kane, and we don't know whether we're coming or going as a club. What's going on? For me personally, guys, as I've said before, very, very prominently in the last week or so, with regards to the Antonio Conte disaster, I said that I hold Daniel Levy 100% responsible for putting Tottenham in this situation. I know as a channel and around the community, a lot of people think that I am, Daniel Levy in because I don't share the resentment towards his historical tenure at Tottenham in taking us from where we were when he took us over to where we are now. But I separate the past, the present, and the future. And I think, I don't share the same resentment looking back. I do think that Tottenham have had a general trend towards the positive, and he was in control of the club during that period. I think he's done a lot of things right. He's done a lot of things wrong, both within the football club and obviously in the external kind of environment. But that's all in the past, and I think you now have to draw a line and then obviously draw your own conclusions around how the present looks and who is ultimately responsible for that and what the future looks like. And they're three separate conversations. I personally don't have too much of an issue with the historical tenure that he has taken this club through. Obviously, up until 2019, everything was going in the right direction. And then there was the kind of plateauing or the leveling out or the backward step, however you want to look at it, for the last 3 or 4 years. But right now, the situation that the club is in, it's absolutely dire. There's no clear path. There's no clear plan. There's no clear visibility. And the silence from the club in regards what is going on is deafening. It's incredibly concerning. And, I'm losing patience with it massively. And I think that the future, more incredibly than the present, looks even more bleak, even more opaque and blurry. And I think that, there's got to be some very significant and heartfelt conversations that are happening right now around what to do. With Fabio Paratici, he's obviously been put in charge not just of the footballing side when it comes to transfers, but he's also been put in charge of, reinventing the youth department, the conversion of youth players from prospects to talents, and either to come into the first team or to be sold on and finance and fund the next round of kids that are coming through our system. So far, that hasn't worked out very well. You can count on the fingers of one hand the amount of talent that has actually kind of emerged over the last 10 years. And he was supposed to be redoing that. He was also supposed to be employing and figuring out all of the new scouts, the talent ID, the ability to offload players that have proven to be costly and unsuccessful assets, the ability to find value in the players that we are looking for and drive that thing forward. And in the most part, I think he has failed in several of those off-key areas. Even the news like Jeff Vertier, the scout that was hired and was on a temporary probationary period, speaking out, and leaking the news in, I think it was Brazil or Colombia maybe, about a goalkeeper. That kind of thing reeks of unprofessionalism and, comes across like he didn't really have control over these areas of the football club that, we all don't want Daniel Levy touching. He was employed to do this. And if Daniel Levy hired this guy without knowing about the potential problems that were coming up in the future, and he's only been here for 2.5 years, if Daniel Levy was unaware, then the due diligence, the lack thereof of due diligence, is a massive problem. It's a huge problem, and it 100% goes into the L column for Daniel Levy. If he was aware and was misled by Fabio Paratici about the severity of the issues or the probability of it going in the wrong direction, then again, it shows poor decision making and a lack of clarity and making concise decisions that are based on cogent arguments for doing something or not doing something. Hiring Fabio Paratici, whether he was aware or wasn't aware, was a massive mistake. And giving him the responsibility and the oversight of the areas of the club that he has not proven to be a success in any way near enough detail in the relatively short time that he has had. He obviously had a lot to unravel from the mistakes of Steve Hitchen, but Tottenham's director of footballs have been pretty rusty, and I don't think they'll reflect too fondly on those on their efforts since Paul Mitchell. What you could say about Fabio Paratici is there is an argument to go through the list of transfers that he's made. For me personally, I think he's hit some, he's missed with a lot of others, and there's a few that we still don't know yet. Time will tell whether they'll work out, whether they'll play better for a different manager under a different system. Players like Bissouma, players like Richarlison. Although, like I said today, there's news that he might be leaving in the summer anyway. So, look, for me personally, we spoke about this in the last couple of weeks. What to do now? I mean, I personally thought that even before this news has come down, I was saying it for the last couple of weeks, the sort of Damocles was hanging over Paratici's neck, and his ability to do his job could have changed at any particular time. It came, and it has been, the outcome is negative. I think that there's absolutely no way that Fabio Paratici can do his job. Even if he can sit in meetings and give his oversight, he can't be involved in the negotiations. And if that's not the case, if you still employ a director of football that can't negotiate, then who do we hand over the reins to? Absent a new director of football, it's going to be Daniel Levy again, which isn't something that we want. Be something we want to move away from. So for me personally, even if he can still sit in the background and kind of be the conductor or be the puppet master of what's going on and have people underneath him that are doing the negotiations or doing all of his bidding, it's too messy. And the look of it, of continuing to employ someone that not only has fraud and civil cases stacked up against him, but a potential criminal case as well, it's bringing the club into disrepute. It's absolute cause for sacking there. I don't think you'll have to pay out any particular compensation for the circumstances in which you would remove him. And for me personally, he has to go. Daniel Levy takes another giant L. Look, for me, guys, out of adversity comes opportunities. I think that there is this opportunity right now to do that kind of factory reset. I don't think that would include Daniel Levy. We know how much he loves being in part of Tottenham, and we know that he's an owner of the football club, and the only person that can really tell him that he has to go is the person who owns more shares than him in the club, and that would be Joe Lewis or the family trust that ENIC is now controlled by. I don't see that happening, but I do see this opportunity right now to, if Tottenham are clear and concise, they can get together and create a new vision, and one that I think all Tottenham fans want to see, one that is based around attractive front foot football, one where whoever the next director of football is, that person needs to be able to take complete control of the footballing side of the business, but make sure that you do your due diligence on who that person is and that they are, if not squeaky clean, then at least incredibly competent and that have no shadows being cast over their resume and their future abilities to do work. I don't know who that is. Maybe we'll have to do some research and see if we can identify some real talent. But as I said, I do think that there's an opportunity here to reset and to rebuild the vision of Tottenham Hotspur, one that includes the entertaining, the front foot football, one that hopes to encourage the youth to play with a certain philosophy, the same sort of thing that you would see at Ajax or Leipzig or in Barcelona in the past. That kind of thing. There is an opportunity here to take that march, and maybe we can turn this into something positive. But for me right now, guys, the club is an absolute shambles, and from top to bottom, not that there's many high-ranking figures that will be left probably by the end of this week, but it's a disaster, and one that is frustrating and it angers me, and it shouldn't have happened in the first place. I'm sorry, Daniel Levy, I don't think of your historical track record in the same negative vein as a lot of people do, but your present performance leaves a lot to be desired. It's an absolute shambles, and unless you can come out and impress on us some sort of clear, concise vision of how we can move forward in a way that inspires confidence in our fans, then I think the future looks pretty bleak at the moment as well. That's it from me, guys. Let me know your thoughts. What would you do? Would you sack Paratici? Would you start again, factory reset? Do you have any more patience for Daniel Levy? And look, Do you think that Daniel Levy, is there any way that Daniel Levy would or could be removed by Joe Lewis or Enoch, or what is the likelihood of that? I don't think that's likely. I think we have to work within that kind of parameter and try and demand something better. Try and demand a pathway where we can all get behind the team. Like, subscribe, and follow. And as always, guys, bye-bye.